What is up, PFL Nation? Happy Tuesday night. It is the second episode of the In the Booth podcast with your boys John Smith and Austin Briley. And today
What's
we got
crack-a-lacking?
we got a very special guest in Coach Anderson at LSU. Coach, thank you for being here. Why don't you say what's up to the people?
What's up, man? Probably the best coach in the league for real. You see Dada started playing good, but
And we
yeah,
we
we
gonna
gonna
get
get
right
into
on
that.
that, bro. Yeah, man. Thank you for coming in. We're excited to hear your thoughts on these games. For those who are new to the pod and don't know the format, this is basically just a laid-back way for a few of us guys to get together, talk about last week's games, and then preview what we're most excited about coming out of next week. So, in order to keep in that 30-minute time frame and keep things moving, we're gonna jump right in and go ahead and get started on the first game of last week, which I'm sure Austin can't wait to talk about. We had Oregon come out on top against UCLA 20-17, and I'm going to pass it right to you, AB. What were you most excited and happy about when it comes to your performance in this game?
Um, I think this is the smartest game we've ever played. It doesn't show like that because it's a smaller scoring game. The kicker's still a bitch, even though he won us this football game. We would have won this game by 3 more points if somebody wasn't
Uh-huh.
doinking a little extra point style field goals. But
Yep.
I
smartest
forgot.
game I think I've ever played. By a long shot. I think I was making a lot of the right reads. That one interception seemed a little inevitable just because Madden was being Madden. But
Yep.
2 touchdowns to 1 interception, I think is good for me. So
Yeah. Coach Anderson, did you catch this game, and do you have any thoughts or key takeaways on it?
Yeah, AB definitely stepped up from the past few weeks. Lowest interceptions he's had this year.
Yep.
And then UCLA surprising me because they either lose close games or win close games. It hasn't been any blowout, basically any blowouts for UCLA.
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
for that, except for
Besides
one.
us. Besides us.
Yeah, see,
But yeah, I agree. I think AB, I think you stepped up a lot. Obviously I called this game, so when you threw that pick, I was really concerned, but you managed to collect yourself again and end up performing. And I think the biggest thing that we didn't touch on was the fact that Oregon really shut down Gaddy in the backfield. I think that was massive. You'll see he's not even listed as one of the key stats. I think stopping that running game is honestly what pushed you guys over the top. So that was my biggest takeaway. You guys got anything else on this one? Or are you ready to move on to the second game from last week?
I think
I'm ready to move on.
All right,
if
cool.
Gaddy wasn't off, he definitely would have got. Kicker definitely would have got jumped if they lost.
Yep. I agree. Yeah. So jumping into the second game, this one, obviously, Coach Anderson, I'll let you lead on, but we had Michigan and LSU. It was a very tight one. This is one that I was very very excited about going into the week. One that I was excited to watch, and honestly, this result is basically what I thought it would be. It could have gone either way, right? 2017 for either team. But coach, how are you feeling about this? How are you feeling about LSU's hot streak kind of slowing down and just the overall spot of your team right now?
Man, this hurts, man. This the first team since Dada stepped up that's been really really good, and we lost by 3. Started off good,
Yep.
gave up, just slowed down in the second half. Michigan came back, and we could really do right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
What about?
do want to see how I appreciate how we did a good job on stopping Numa from running,
Yep.
but there ain't much to really say on that one, man.
Yeah.
2 20-17ers to start the week.
Yeah. We had some real parity this week. Honestly, this was a week of very very good games.
At a week of very, very eventful things going on.
Uh
We'll
huh.
get into one of those here once we get towards Saturday.
Absolutely. Do you have any key takeaways, AB? Obviously, we got to give LSU credit for shutting down Numa, but we got to give Michigan credit for pulling off what they were able to pull off. AZ had a monster game. I kind of want to talk on that, but I'll let you talk first. What were your key takeaways out of this matchup?
I think this looks great for us coming into this week.
Yep.
This, rather you believe it or not, especially seeing what LSU is capable of, this is a very poor game by Michigan. And so the stats don't really show that, but if you look at what Michigan really is able and capable of doing, it usually kind of balances out or bottoms out at around 20.
Right.
And so if we can get above 20, when I head back home this weekend, then we should figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like right now the 20 points seems to be the sweep spots, especially against these more effective defenses, right? You see Banks' stats here. Obviously, he's super highlighted for the 9 total tackles, including 4 on his own. And
Either that or a dog shit kicker. One of the two.
yeah, those are basically the two key highlights of these PFL games. Are you playing good defense? Can you get above 20 points? And can you hit a fucking field goal? And
Can you hit a 20-yard field goal and
uh-huh,
score above 20 points? More than 20 yards and more than 20 points. That is the key to winning
those are
every
the keys to
PFL
winning
football
every
game.
game.
Easily. Before we move on, I want to give a shout out to my store safe that's been playing linebacker the past 2 games. Been playing phenomenal.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's good, man. I mean, your guys' defense, obviously it's not highlighted here on the highlight sheet, but the defense, you guys did perform. I mean, holding Michigan to 20, shutting down Caden Numa. I'm not trying to take away from anything you guys did in this game. I really felt good about LSU going into this one. It's just Michigan ended up being able to, find the spark towards the end there. So
AZ didn't want to remix of last year.
No, he did. He definitely stepped up. I mean, that 105 passing rating, I mean, that is the difference maker. So with that, I think we are good to go into the third game. This one kind of hurts. So I called this one as well, and when I was calling it, you could kind of hear me up there in the booth. I was shocked. I know that Bama, and I've said this last week on the pod, even though AB gave me shit for it. I know Bama to me is a lock, right? Bama is consensus number 1. Georgia's a close 2, but I do think Bama deserves to be in the number 1 slot, and I think they proved it. This 2-4 record for Ole Miss really doesn't highlight how elite their defensive talent is. And Bama went out there and said, "We're still gonna beat you by friggin' 17 points." So that's a monster performance. That is a monster performance. So yeah, and K5's not even highlighted. So I'm gonna pass this to you. AB, you go ahead and go first since I kind of talked for a bit. What are your key takeaways out of this one? And honestly, I want you both to answer this when you're up, but were you surprised at this result?
So I'm going to back off of Bama a little bit. I still think tomorrow night, or actually not tomorrow night, sorry, last night.
Yep.
If you guys are watching this on a Tuesday with us.
Yep.
Last night would be a real good indicator of what is to come.
Yeah.
For the Alabama Crimson Tide. I know they're planning on making some changes on the other opponent's side, but a lot of that same stuff here. I've been seeing a lot of bench KC now that a lot of TJ Viper fans have kind of come out of nowhere, and so
Viper gang.
I don't think this is crazy. I think it's even more flattering to myself that we only lost by a touchdown, and to anybody else who only lost by a touchdown, especially since we had to come back against Ole Miss. But Madden's just not feeling very well lately, and so I'll hand that one over to you, Anderson.
Ole Miss has possibly the best defense in the league, so
agreed.
It's to be showing up in the offense to just be lackluster in this. Ole Miss isn't going to get anywhere with just defense. They need KC. Deuce has been showing up, but Bama, as you see, Deuce isn't even on key stats. He's been he got locked up that game. Ole Miss just has to step it up if they want to make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. That defense, I mean, that's why I really highlight the 31 points, because that defense is phenomenal, and they really need KC and the rest of that offense to figure it out and get it together, man. He was basically a non-factor. You see the 2 TDs to 3 picks. He was basically not even in the damn game. I'm like watching thing. I'm like, what is happening?
He was their whole game. He was their whole game. They only have 14 points.
Yeah, right.
So he was their whole game.
So I mean, he just got to make some changes if Ole Miss wants to be successful and turn this record around and try and sneak their way into the playoffs. Listen, I mean, we aren't quite through the week yet, but there's a absolute shitload of 2 and 4 teams. And so it's no lock on those 5 and 6 slots going into the playoffs. Those could definitely see a lot of movement. And speaking of another 2-4 team, my
Oh, Jesus
team,
Christ, John.
as we got absolutely slaughtered by Utah, and as I let you guys lead on your teams, I will lead on mine. So one, we don't know what's happened to Caleb Williams in the locker room. He's just shut down. He's done. I think he's already thinking about the league. I don't think he really cares about what's going on at SC right now, and he's just checked out because I assume he's given up for the year. And I talked to Coach Parker about what we're going to do, and I can tell you guys right now, you guys are going to hear it first on pod listeners, we are changing our playbook for this week. And I told him we can't have games where I'm averaging 5 yards a carry and I'm not even making it to the stat sheet. Right? I only had 10 touches. Utah struggled to stop me on the run game. We got to be more consistent at utilizing our strength. And when there are games when I'm not running well, we got to do a better job at getting the ball into Trey's hands, getting the ball into Naz's hands, doing the things we have to do on offense. So those are my takeaways for USC. I will let you guys talk about Utah. So, Coach Anderson, I'll let you go first. What do you think about this Utes team, man? You think this is the real deal? I know we're not really that much of a gauge considering our record and our performance, but how do you feel about this team?
That Utes team is pretty good, man. But it sucks because they're good all around, and then you just get to that run game, they get torn apart.
Yep.
Especially if the back is good and knows what to do. It sucks because that D-line has talent with Vic, Terrence, but if they don't show up, it's going to just be a field game on the run.
Right.
It's just...
Yeah, I mean, they really are struggling to stop the run. I mean, you bring up a great point. Like, I obviously am confident in my ability in the backfield, but 5 yards a carry, that you're gonna lose games against better teams at 5 yards a carry, right? We all know that. We've all played enough football. We all know that you can't just let a back run all over you. They're gonna control the game. They're gonna have time of possession. Like that run defense definitely has a little bit of work to do. What about you, AB? How do you feel about Utah?
I think Utah is the worst 4-2 team that we will ever see in PFL history, and I only
Whew.
say that for one
Damn.
reason, and one reason only.
Damn.
That's because if you watch how they play, though, they're not really playing at all
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah.
Every single time, they're not playing at all the entire time, and they just keep winning. So, like, realistically, if you look at this game, you guys should have literally come in here and probably flopped the score because Rado either hands the ball off and Bo Sanders is Bo Sanders, or what is 3 touchdowns? This is a far-fetched game. Don't hold your head on this one, John. Utah's probably, unless their books are in fact correct, like Coach Gucci said.
Bro,
We got
the
a little bit to
AB
watch.
Utah rivalry is my favorite thing. That shit is so funny to me. My man has smoke for a whole team. Not even
'Cause I've
his
watched
team,
them
not
the
even a
most.
rival.
Yeah, they are Pac-12 rival. But no, it's just like I think Rado last year is kind of catching up to Rado this year.
Sure.
I think Rado looked a lot better last year because he had nobody, but now that he's over here, he's
He's
still
got a
kind of filling it out.
141 passer rating. What are you talking
One
about?
time. Yeah, and Lamar Anderson had a freaking whatever rating when he came and played us and threw 4 touchdowns, then got absolutely smoked the next week.
True.
Like a Swisher Sweet freaking Summer Splash Edition pack.
That's true. Before we move on, I'll let Coach Anderson have a rebuttal. You got any response to that, my man?
Not really. I just want to point. For some reason, their D-line shows up when it's pass game because Terrence gets there and gets pressures. But when they get run game, it's just... I'd be confused what their D-line be doing sometimes, man.
Bro, they go to sleep on the run game.
Do you get what I mean? Though when I say that, like they're not really playing like there's any sort of competition to be had.
Yeah.
4-2 is a very generous record for Utah at this point, considering the only other team they lost to was Georgia.
Right. Yeah, I mean...
But we'll have to see, because the season will play out, and strength of schedule will come into play. We will get our shot at Utah.
Exactly.
So even if we don't win that game, we're going to take jabs at them.
Their second half of the season is definitely going to be tougher than the first half. I do like the team. You guys know that. I love Light. I think Rado's good. And obviously Bo is my boy. So I have good hope for Utah.
if I would have started my stats off properly and my traits off properly, and I wouldn't have been fucking around with the playbooks like I probably shouldn't have, we'd probably be 4-2 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you
Because if we
definitely
come out here, we
have.
beat Georgia and all that stuff. We don't fall to LSU if I'm
Yep.
not fucking around. No
Yep.
offense, coach.
I
We
ain't gonna
don't. Go ahead.
say no. You definitely fall in LSU like you did.
That's what I like to hear, Coach. That's it. That's it. That's what I like to hear.
We'll see about that.
All right, all right. Well, I'm not gonna let it get too heated between you two, so we're moving on. We're moving on to the next game. So this one is by far the game of the week. I had an absolute blast calling this up with Carlos Thompson from Texas in the booth with me. This was a fantastic game for us to call. Georgia
Safety
comes away with
Swavy.
the win. Obviously, we'll now beating the number 2 ranked team in the nation. And they looked at, man, that last drive when they got the freaking touchdown to Barnes and then Elko on the 2-point conversion, I was losing my mind. But I did want to dedicate this piece specifically because of the drama going on right now. I'll let you each speak your part. I want to preface this by saying we're not going to fight over this because this is a touchy subject to the PFL right now. PS3 and the benching. All right, that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to pass it first to you, AB. Do you think PS3 is the reason they lost, and does he deserve a bench? Those are the two questions I got.
I think if PS3 gets benched, this is when they do lose. And I was literally just about to say, whatever Miami's got to do to give us that shot week 11. But
Yep.
wow, that's not a bad game. He threw a touchdown to an interception. He doesn't have a QB rating on here, unfortunately.
Yep.
It doesn't look like. But 20 of 33, that's better than my stat line and stuff like that. And Georgia, like I told you, Georgia's a for real team.
Yep.
Georgia's going to continue to do this, and this isn't. You lose to basically the national champion. I think national championship contender right now.
Yeah.
Them in Alabama
Yep.
by
Yep.
3 points because your quarterback makes a mistake when he's in safety territory, and we've been itching to see one for 6 weeks.
Yep.
And now he's just gone. If that's the case, then leave Duke Smith on the sideline and get rid of KC
Yep.
because that's about as educated of a decision as that is.
That's fair. And on that, Coach Anderson, you got the same two questions. Were you surprised by this result? And do you blame PS3? And do you think that he deserves to be benched?
I definitely wouldn't bench PS3. The dude's a freshman, and he played like the best quarterback in the league for the first 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
5.
He went against Ole Miss and was just never the same. You can't bench him. Give him some time to recuperate off that Ole Miss loss.
Yeah.
Don't bench. It wasn't even a bad game, like Austin said. It's not really. This outcome was a surprise. I knew it was going to be a close game regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I went into it expecting a good game. We got an absolutely amazing game. I do want to say that I think KJ is the best user quarterback in the league. As of this moment, I feel like he can confidently carry that with him. He looked unreal, and he got the job done every time he needed to get the job done. So I do want to give my flowers to Georgia. This was a hell of a game. Go
It's
ahead.
definitely out of Carson for best user.
Yeah, Carson's up there for sure. It's definitely a battle between those two right now. But yeah, thank you, fellas. I know that's been a hot button topic in the PFL, so I wanted to make sure we addressed it. I'm sure our viewers were thinking, are they going to talk about this? We just had to get to the game first. That's all, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the game we all care the absolute most about. This is the one that obviously had the most amount of hype around it, and if you can't tell, I'm being completely sarcastic. I don't even know if half the PFL watched this game, but we're going to talk about it anyway. We got to be fair to everybody. So the one team that might be worse than USC went up against FSU. FSU's been on an absolute tear. I want to give them their flowers first. Mays has been amazing. He's played really well while they've been on this win streak. FSU looks really good. I mean, these are the defending champs, right? And they started 0-2, and we were all like, CS2's different, this, that. Now they're 4-2. They look really good. Obviously, they had a pretty weak schedule to get to 4-2 after those first two losses, but they cleaned house. I mean, they came here and did what they were supposed to do. So, I got my questions for you guys, and I'll start with you, Coach Anderson. Is one, if you're Cincinnati, what the hell are you supposed to do? And then two, if you're FSU, do you feel like you're the real deal? You feel like you're a consensus top five? How do you think they're feeling right now?
For Cincy, it's hard. They have to do a lot. They have to test some playbooks, change a bunch of different stuff, and please get a ball to Shady Moore. That's the most you can do, really.
Agreed.
Then we have FSU. I feel like they probably don't. They like this little win streak, but they definitely wait until they play a more high caliber team like Utah, UGA, or something like that.
Yep.
Because
They get us next week.
Yep.
And we're back in order. All of our books, all of our traits, all of our schemes, all of it's back the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
if AB's not lying, then Oregon too.
Yep.
Because you got Tamar, who's the best power back to get a touchdown in the league, in my opinion.
Yep. I agree.
And then you have Austin Briley, if he continues to not throw 3 picks a game,
I agree.
could have been the best quarterback.
I agree. AB, you got the same two questions. One, if you're Cincy, what the hell are you doing? And two, if you're FSU, how are you feeling? Is this real? Do you agree with Coach Anderson? Do you feel like we got to wait till they play, you guys or another real threat team? Or do you feel like this is the defending champs coming back to take care of business?
If you're Cincy, like I said last week, you just gotta wait.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like I said, this isn't something that's a surprise. We didn't not sign up for this when we took Cincinnati on in the way that we did as a league, and so, and Florida State they'll carry their momentum on until they lose it, and so if that's against us, that's against us. If it's past us, it's past us. If it's past UCLA this week, then so be it. But if it ends, then it ends, and if they get back on it, they get back on it. If they don't, then who's really to know? I think out of the three teams though that are 4-2 right now, I'd say it goes Miami, and then it goes FSU,
And then
Utah.
Yeah.
And so because Mays is playing right now consistently like they want Rado to play.
Yep.
If Rado was playing like Mays is and like we and you had talked about last week and then this week too, I'd have a much different tune to be singing about the Utes, but that's just not the case right now. And so if that can be the case, then I mean I'll give them their dues and their flowers just the same as I give Florida.
Right.
It's Utah bad, man.
So he hates them. It's hilarious. I love this, AB.
It's so funny because like I really don't even have anything against Utah.
We gotta get light. We gotta
get
get light or Bo or Coach in this thing for AB and him. We gotta do it. This is gonna be war zone in here. It's gonna be terrifying.
Either get one of their captains, like their defensive offensive, or it is gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be hilarious. I mean, it's gonna be so good. We gotta get Rado in here. It's anybody. I can't wait. We'll do a special episode. It's just an hour of AB and Utah fighting each other, cage match. That's so good. All right, boys. All right. We gotta keep it moving. So we got our last game last week. Again, I called this one as well.
Texas and then Utah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Texas. Then there's 4-2 teams. So I called this one as well. My biggest takeaway: Lamar had a massive bounce back game. I talked about it all the time in the booth, but he really came out and said, "I'm so sorry about those 5 picks." He played really conservatively, which I thought was a good response. After I'm sure a game like that shakes your confidence, right? So he played conservative. He played smart. Almost went for 300 yards. Had the touchdown, but honestly, this was a carried game by Texas's defense. I know Notre Dame put up 20 points, but obviously, as I'm sure you guys heard me in the booth, basically within that last 2 minutes, the game was over. So Texas just stopped caring, and Notre Dame got some garbage points. That's just the truth of the matter. If I'm Notre Dame, this is, again, we've heard this, the rumblings, just like with PS3, over Christian Ross, right? Is he the guy? Is this what we're looking for? And, obviously there was a lot of drama after that game, as some of the Notre Dame players were pretty fired up. Good thing we don't have Jay Pickens in here. Just saying.
We almost did. We almost did. He messaged me back right after coach.
So I'm gonna give you guys the same talking points we did with the Miami game. I'm gonna ask. I'll start with you, AB. Do you think Christian's the reason Notre Dame lost? And do you feel like he deserves a bench? And then obviously, if you'd like, you can talk about what your highlight from this game was.
So I don't know what it is, but it's just like this 2-4 record doesn't really faze me. And maybe because I'm biased because I want to play for him so bad. But Notre Dame is just a team that, like, for a 2-4 team, there's not a team I'm more confident in winning their game every week by how they play than Notre Dame. Notre Dame comes out swinging always, and so for them to go down early like this in this little field goal mishap matchup, whatever the heck they had going on for the first little bit, that's kind of that's concerning to watch. I mean, it gives him a better overall rating than Lamar, but Lamar's going to walk out of here at 4-2, and they're going to go 2-4. Carlos Thompson did finally get his touchdown, and so I don't think Christian Ross is the reason why they lost. I think Texas is just good this year. Because I was the reason we lost. So,
So what you're saying is bench AB. That's all I'm hearing out of this.
yes, yes, bench AB.
Same question over to you, Coach Anderson. One, obviously, what's your biggest takeaway from this game? Two, with drama with Christian Ross, do you feel like he's the reason why they lost? Do you feel like he deserves a bench? And do you feel like AB said, Notre Dame really should have a different record than what they're currently at?
I definitely don't think Cross should be benched. We know Christian Ross is going to be Christian Ross. High yards, high interception, high TD. Everything's going to be high. So it's just we came in expecting Cross to throw about 2-3 TDs with 2-3 interceptions. It's nothing new, but Notre Dame definitely has the best collective group of freshmen here, and that's not an argument. J. Pick, Cross, all of them, just all are good players. They just need to step it up. I feel like they will, because like I said, best collective group of freshmen here. So,
Yeah.
like AB, that's probably the team that I'm most confident in winning all their games out of all the 2-4 teams.
Right. And I'm with you guys. I mean, every time I call Notre Dame, I was shocked at the way this game went. And the fact that their offense was just unable to move the ball, I do have to give props to Texas for that. Their defense obviously stepped up, came to play, and had a good game plan for how to shut down Notre Dame and their constant weapons, right? So that was a very good one. And that does wrap up Week 6. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, this is the Week 7 schedule. Hopefully you all have, since we had a game last night. If you're watching this on Tuesday, keep in mind this is recorded on Sunday, so we don't know the results of Monday's game when we're talking. I always like to state that just in case someone brings up Monday's game as their game to watch. So boys, looking at this Week 7 schedule, I'll start with you, Coach Anderson, since you're the guest of honor. What is your biggest must-watch game? And for you, for a challenge, you cannot say LSU Georgia.
I knew he was probably going to stop me. But it's probably either Bama. It's more than likely going to be Bama and Miami. That's two of the best teams here.
Yep.
If Bama beats Miami, that's nobody else is even touching Bama until playoffs.
Yep.
Easily.
Agreed.
If K5 gets back on his role like he was, Bama's easily untouchable. You're not keeping up with Bama scoring. If Bama, Arson, and all of them is. So yeah, definitely the most must-see game here.
Yeah. So that was last night's game. So by the time people are watching this, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of excitement in the chat. Who do you think wins? Let's call the receipt though. Let's see if you get it right. Who's winning this one, Bama or Miami?
I'm gonna have to go Bama.
Yeah, I'm also going Bama. AB, who's winning that game, and then let me know who your game to watch is.
I'll say Bama's probably gonna win that game, but if it'll be by a lot. if Swavey really isn't playing. There's a chance that we'll see a little bit of contention from the guy from last year, but
Sure.
yeah, whatever. I think the biggest thing is Thursday and Friday. And
Yep.
so seeing how Notre Dame plays against you guys, because right now I think this is a team that you guys could still probably walk in there then, I guess, and do some damage. And Friday we're going to find out what really is going to happen to KC.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at the other Wednesday game or whatever, or our game, or no offense to you, Coach, but even Saturday or Saturday,
AB
there's
going
not
for
really
everybody, bro.
there's not really a whole lot to watch this week that isn't already kind of decided.
Yeah.
I can
And
understand
so
AB for this. We blew him out by 50. I
Yup.
mean,
Yeah, he cold right now. AB mad.
47-11.
AB mad. He mad. It's alright.
but I do think we gonna give.
Hey, how about this? How
Right.
about this? Yeah, you beat us, but if you can beat Georgia, you can hang with us.
Ooh, that's. I mean, he did beat Georgia. He got a point there.
First.
He got a point. So
We
First.
can beat Georgia. It's a matter of game planning. Like we could have beat Michigan. It's just we wasn't expecting AZ to go off like he did.
yeah, AZ went crazy. He really did.
We
Like we talked
expected
about.
Numa to be a problem in AZ.
Yup.
It was
So that's big, man. That's big. Yeah. I mean, okay, fellas. My own game to watch. Sorry, before I wrap it up here, my own game to watch is actually going to be the Oregon-Michigan game. My main reason for that is one, I want to see if Michigan's performance against LSU can continue, if that wave's going to keep happening, and I really think the Numa matchup against Tamar is probably the matchup I'm most excited for, because that's two absolute. I mean, that's top three, right? That's two of the top three guys at that position in the league, and I'm really excited to see who comes out on top of that. And I think that game is really going to come down to a shitload of game planning to try to stop that run game by both teams. So I can't wait for that one. And AB, I hope you ball out, man. I really do. And I do actually, I will say with receipts, I do have Oregon winning that game because I think tomorrow is just going to go crazy. So that's my game to watch.
Like that he's been in, and it's just
Yeah, he's been going crazy. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him go again.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it
he
was-
had the hat trick against Georgia too. So remember that.
Uh-huh.
Make sure
it
make
was
sure
a
your
spin
boy's
for-
getting a hat trick against Georgia too.
It was a spin of when Tamar didn't even had no touchdowns and just had like 70 to 80 yards.
Yep.
But that still helps a lot though.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean,
on either Monday or Ole Miss, Texas, or Oregon, Michigan, one of the three.
yeah. That will wrap it up for our In the Booth Pod episode 2. I will say my piece. AB, you can say yours, and then we'll let our guest have the final word. But just want to say, thank you all, PFL, as always. We love doing this, so all feedback on this is appreciated. I'm glad everyone liked the first week's show, and hopefully you like this one even more. We can't wait to have more of you guys on here. We can't wait to keep leveling it up. As you know, this week we included these graphics so you guys can follow along with us, and we're going to keep getting better and better. So thank you again for tuning in. With that, that's John Smith signing off. I'm going to pass it over to AB, and then AB, you can pass it over to Coach Anderson after.
Yeah, shout out to everybody getting right within this week within the PFL and all that stuff. Myself included. Sorry I wasn't able to catch any of y'all in the booth for real. This week had some router issues and then some other things going on, but we're gonna get right back to that too. And so I want to give a shout out to Coach Anderson for coming on here, especially just answering my message as quick as he did. And with that being said, my name is Austin Briley, and we'll catch y'all later. Go ahead and pass it off to Coach Anderson, then we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, I mess with the podcast, man. I would definitely hope to be here like in the end of this season or something like that. But I like it. But this is Coach Anderson just saying, see y'all later. Hopefully in the booth one day.